We're going to talk about travel, what happens to both the companies involved in the travel business, tourism business, as well as from the consumer point of view. And we have the best person, I would say, probably on the planet to talk about these issues. Peter Greenberg is the CBS News travel editor and America's travel detective. Who are the people flying on planes now?
Well, the people flying on planes, most of the airlines right now are operating at about 8% load factor, so it's ridiculous. You might have 20 people on a flight. And the only reason why the planes are flying is to basically perform to the provisions of the loan bailout from the government that they can't stop or drop routes. They have to keep their people employed at least through September.
In what kind of financial shape are the airlines? Can they weather all this reduced revenue?
Here's my new definition of a successful airline, which can lose money longer. And then you have airlines that did something really, well, they thought they were being visionary, turned out to be stupid, which is about 5 or 6 months ago, they decided to hedge their fuel buys. So they thought fuel prices were going to go sky high. So they're buying fuel that they got locked in at like $4 a gallon. A gallon of gas in New York right now is $1.70. So they got a problem flying the planes now because they can't afford the fuel.
What will the airport experience be? How will it be different now for a consumer?
From the airport experience, they're going to basically force you to do everything online, as little human contact as possible at the counter. At security, you're going to be wearing a mask, and the TSA has actually allowed you to keep the mask on. They've already made that rule change already. You're going to board the plane in a different way. No matter what your type of ticket, whether you're a mega frequent flyer or not, you're boarding from the back to the front. The reason why they don't do it now, but they'll never tell you this, is because there's not enough overhead space for bags. Right now, the airfare between Fort Lauderdale and Los Angeles today, round trip, you know what it is? Take a guess.
In coach, I'd say $400.
$38.
That seems like a good deal.
But they're not going to be able to discount their way out of this. And the reason for that is fear, because they haven't been given their security blanket about whether or not the plane is clean, the airport's clean. There's no vaccine, so who's got tested, who didn't. So in the absence of widespread testing and a vaccine, discounting will not save the day.
How's the hotel experience going to change, and how are the hotels going to possibly afford all the additional expenses involved here?
Well, the additional expenses are not that bad. You just got to change your cleaning protocols and add a few extra staff. So for example, and everything I tell you now is going to get changed again and probably added to. But like the airport scene, you're not going to really have a great front desk experience. Your key may be available in another location where it's already hermetically sealed. But then you're going to be escorted to your room by a staffer maintaining social distance who will be wearing gloves, and they'll open the door for you. You won't open the door yourself. And then the room will have been, nuked by the time you get in there.
If you're Bob Iger and the others there, how do you get Japanese tourists to fly from Japan to Orlando and to Los Angeles? How do you possibly get that machinery going again?
They're working on all the different technological aspects of temperature and fever and eye contact, everything that goes into this, whatever formula they're working on to create an idea that you're safe. Social distancing is another issue. I'm just talking about getting them into the park. And that's going to happen in 3 locations. It'll happen before you get on the plane. We're going to have to carry a card that said we've been tested negative for coronavirus, or we had the antibody test. And then when we get the vaccine, that we've been vaccinated. And then they won't let us on the plane without that.
Is the stuff we're talking about now, basically in this interim period before there's a vaccine, and consumers will get more experiences more like they used to have after there's a vaccine, or is this the new normal forever?
It's half of each, because remember, you mentioned corporate travel policies haven't changed right now because the lawyers are in the room and the liability issues run rampant, right? But it's a two-way street. The corporation doesn't want to be liable for their employees to send them someplace that's not safe, and the employees don't want to go. Everybody wants their security blanket. So this is a wild new world that we're going to be in, which is why the rest of the year of 2020 is essentially written off.